Hey tubers, welcome back. So this is that SSR 125cc pit bike. The back end is finally done. I put a wire harness on it. This is the OEM wire harness. I showed you guys in the last video that it sparks, and now I'm just going to give it a quick cold start for you guys. I already put some gas into the carburetor until it was kind of dripping out, so hopefully it didn't flood or anything. I'm also trying to get a little better with using a tripod and up some of my movie making skills. So there we are. So the ignition system's all hooked up. It should be a matter of just engaging the electric starter and hopefully she starts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try the off switch now. So I'm going to start it up again, gun it up, and then I'm going to hit the off switch and see how well that works. Assuming it starts again. And that's it. I used the off switch to shut it down. So there we are. Things all set up to run. The off switch works. We're all good. Now it's just a matter of seat, gas tank, muffler, air in the tires, finishing up all the details. I have little things like, if you look right here, I need to put an air cleaner on it, so I got to cut this bracket off. You know, a bunch of little trivia. The spark plug, when I put it back in, it didn't feel so good. So hopefully that's not stripped out. I might end up having to drill it and put a I don't know, one of those spark plug one of those spark plug hole things. What do they call it? Not a tap. An insert, you know, a thread insert, or that uses the small spark plug. I've seen some people drill them out and put the bigger spark plugs in them, so that's another way around it. Just drill and tap that out. So it's coming together. It's been slow, and quite honestly, it's been expensive. This bike came through. It had electrical problems, and the back wheel was completely messed up. Completely, the whole back end was more or less, it was loose. I don't know. Some of you remember there were Craftsman sockets for spacers, and they used a bunch of carriage bolts instead of the wheel bolts. So I had to buy the wheel bolts for the wheels. I had to buy and make spacers. I ended up, this is a eBay back tire. I didn't like the one they put on it. The one they put on it did not have a sprocket or a disc. So just running the numbers, it was cheaper to buy a whole wheel and tire and all with a sprocket and a disc than mess with them. I had to buy wheel bearings, and none of it was all that expensive, but you start adding it up. It was like, you know, 10 or 15 for each one of those bolts, call it 25 for the pair. This little chain tensioner there thing, that was like another $12. The ignition system was somewhere around 15. The carburetor was around 15. You know, it just kept, every time I bought something, I like had to buy something new. I made the back chain tensioners for the back wheel. I still need the pads, caliper, line, and rear brake hydraulic stuff. It has the front, except the handles broke off. If you push the little piston in, the brakes still work, but the handles broke off. So it was, I think I paid 80 or 90 bucks for the bike, and then fooling around with the back, it was 25, 40. I think the back wheel was around 70, so that's 110. The carburetor takes me to 125. The ignition system takes me to 140. And once again, I'm not done yet. It still has a way to go. Cosmetically, when it's done, it'll probably be, you know, a 6 out of 10, right? It's not gonna be a beauty. So, you know, if it's worth $350, call it $500, you know, by the time I have the bike and everything else into it, and a lot of time, right? I mean, messing around, taking the shock off, I had to get parts from elsewhere. It's like a bunch of bolts were missing I had to go fish around for. I think the carburetor came with the air cleaner, but you know, it's just been a real nickel and dime project. At this point, though, if it had a carburetor on it, and if I set the wiring up so that it wasn't going to melt on anything, I could actually put the seat on and take it for a ride. So good progress. It's getting there, but just a cautionary tale. You know, I started out at 90, and if you take the 90 and add everything else I have into it, I'm probably easy on my way to the 300 plus point. And I'm back to the cautionary tale. If one isn't doing this work themselves, you have a pit bike with a running engine, and literally you could put many hundreds of dollars worth of shop time and parts into it, and still have just an old China pit bike that's not worth all that much. So caution, very cautionary. It's almost like buying something at an auction site. Know what you're getting into. For me in the Hondas, I have spare parts like no tomorrow floating around. Even for some of the China four-wheelers, I have a halfway decent assortment of spare parts. For these pit bikes, I didn't have spare wheels and tires and tubes and on and on and on. So you're buying it, and once again, it's cheap, 10, 20, 10, 20. But you keep adding those 10s and 20s together, you start getting into real numbers. Anyway, it's running, and now it's just a matter of finishing it up, doing the button up, so to speak. Doing the punch list, as they call it. Okay, everyone, I want to thank you all for coming by to watch, comment, subscribe. If you liked this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. And if you didn't, give me the thumbs down, but please tell me why. Okay, everyone, take care. Get out there and enjoy your beautiful sunny day. Bye now.